Welcome to my class on paleobotany. Today we will understand about a fossil genus called Glossopteris. We will now understand the various details about Glossopteris. Welcome to the class on paleobotany. Today we will learn about Glossopteris, an important fossil gymnosperm that was living during Permian period about 250 to 300 million years back. The fern, also considered to be a gymnosperm, seed-bearing fern, was studied by Adolphe Brongniart in detail. It's a very important fossil gymnosperm that is an example for explaining the continental drift theory, according to which there was a Gondwana land made up of Southern America, Africa, India and other parts, and they departed. And the plant was living about 250 to 300 million years back, and convincing records were found from Nidpur in India. Glossopteris was restricted to middle and high altitudes, and apart from India, it is also found in many other localities. It is also discovered from different regions like Morocco, Oman, Anatolia, New Guinea, Thailand, etc. The confident assignment of fossil leaves to Glossopteris requires co-preservation with the distinctive root. Root genus of Glossopteris is Vertebraria. It has to be there, otherwise it is difficult. The plant was seed-bearing shrub, maybe sometimes called a tree, about 30 feet tall. Seeds were borne on one side of the variably branched fused structures, and microsporangia containing pollen grains were borne in clusters. Both the seed and pollen bearing organs were partially fused. It is unclear whether the members of Glossopteris was either monoecious or dioecious. The structure of Glossopteris leaves are largely speculative, as completely was never discovered so far. We have only found parts of the plants. The plant resembled modern day Christmas tree or Araucaria. Instead of needles, it had large, broad, lance, tongue-shaped leaves that fell on the ground. Seeds were much too large to be wind-borne, and this is the best evidence in support of Wagner's continental drift theory. The important specimens of Glossopteris were discovered by Robert Scott's Terra Nova expedition. It's a very good example to prove the continental drift theory, which says that different southern land masses were together and then they departed from that central point to different regions. That is called continental drift theory. This is Robert Falcon Scott, who collected the Glossopteris specimens along with his team members from Antarctica. Unfortunately, he died on the way. First investigation to give evidence that coal seams in Brazil are because of the Gondwana flora was given by Charles White. Coming to the organ genera of Glossopteris, we have Vertebraria. Vertebraria is the root genus of Glossopteris. Roots were flattened, grooved with wedge-like sectors that radiate from central axis. The pycnoxylic secondary xylem strands were seen with protoxylem strands. That is why we say the plant resembled Araucaria, Christmas tree. So Vertebraria is the root organ genus. You can see the transverse section of the root on the left hand side. On the right hand side we have the Vertebraria. Leaves were simple, entire, sessile. A lot of variation in shape and size. There were strong midrib, various numerous longitudinally running veins, and leaf anatomy showed a typical dorsiventral structure. There are similar leaves found in other members like Gangamopteris, Paleoviteria, things like that. And Glossopteris, the leaves were very unique. Coming to the male reproductive organs, we have two important ones, Eretmonia, Glossotheca, and also third one is Kendostrobus. We have a lamina, alright, the leaf-like structure which is triangular or sometimes rhomboidal. On that we have clusters of male reproductive structures, sporangia, sometimes only two, sometimes three pairs of male reproductive organs, and the sporangia, alright, had the pollen grains inside them. So this is the male reproductive structure, and we have three examples. Two are very important, Eretmonia and Glossotheca. The third one is also there called Kendostrobus. These are the male reproductive organs. You can see Eretmonia, the male reproductive organ, having two spore-bearing clusters. For description of Glossopteris, we have Urticaria, another male reproductive structure. Coming to the female reproductive structures, and female reproductive structure, we have scutum is one of the most important organ genus, and these female structures were studied by Plumstead, and according to him, the female reproductive structures were bisexual. Alright, and lower sacs represented the seeds, upper ones had the male reproductive structures. We have Denkaria indica, ovule bearing structure. You can see the ovules arising from the leaf. On the right hand side we have the scutum, is another important female reproductive organ. Scutum, lanceolate to ovate fructification, attached by a pedicel to a lower portion of Glossopteris leaf midrib. It had two bilaterally concave symmetrical valves. So scutum is a very important female reproductive organ of Glossopteris. So this is scutum leslium, the seed-bearing structure. And coming to other female structures, we have Denkaria indica. It was reported from Raniganj of India. This organ, 6 long pedicellate seed-bearing cupules are attached to the adaxial surface of the midrib of Glossopteris leaf. So reproductive structures are actually attached to the midrib, arising from the midrib. Alright, we have Urticaria, the other female structure of Gangamopteris leaf. And we have one more, Legetonia. So this is scutum, the seed on the Glossopteris leaf, which is arising from the midrib. Glossopteris is an extinct gymnosperm that was living around 250 to 300 million years back in the Permian period. It was a shrub, or sometimes they feel it may have been a tree, small tree, about 30 feet tall tree, and had some distinct features. The most important feature and most important significance of this genus is it is a strong evidence for the theory on continental drift. This was one dominant plant species that was living in different pieces of Gondwana land. Gondwana land was actually a major landmass which broke into different pieces, became the South America, Africa, Antarctica, Australia, and also India. And all these landmasses represent this genus, that is Glossopteris. That is why it is a very important fossil that is used to prove the continental drift theory. Thank you for watching this video. Subscribe to get the alerts. I thank also all the others